talk strategy, share some experience. Welcome to the channel. Where do we start? Bitcoin is slow, Bitcoin is too expensive, Bitcoin is dinosaur technology. We're going to cover some of that stuff because that's where a lot of the new participants will be misled down the wrong path, and they ultimately destroy their wealth, which is unfortunate for them. And what we want to do here is try and teach you the difference so you can think smarter, make smarter decisions, and do better for your family. And if that sounds good, hit the like button. We'll have a bit of fun. And make sure you subscribe as well. We have a lot of viewers who haven't yet subscribed. So it'd be awesome to have you on the community. The 100x Brigade are back in town. Now, what is the 100x Brigade? The 100x Brigade is like this lynch mob of people. And you never see them during the bear markets. And TLDR, too long didn't read. The bear market, which we'll have, the next crypto crash when Bitcoin crashes and everyone says it's done, it's over, and it's too expensive, and it crashes. That's where the biggest opportunities for you will come. They won't come over the next 6 months, okay? You'll be just set up for massive losses over the next 6 months. But the 100x Brigade are back, even some of the 1000x Brigade, okay? And these are folks who see Bitcoin and see Bitcoin's returns, and they say, I want more than that. That's not good enough for me. Dinny, I don't have any money. I've got to make quicker gains. And I'll just share a little bit of my experience, hopefully so people can get some value of it. And if you like it, hit the like button, and if you dislike it, hit the dislike button, and then I'll be able to gauge what sort of an audience I have and if my messaging is good. So when it comes to people choosing to invest in anything else other than Bitcoin, 9 times out of 10 it's just to lack of education, okay? Nothing has kept up with Bitcoin. Okay, nothing. Everything is crashing in price in terms of Bitcoin. Everything in the fiat world, everything in the traditional investment world, and everything in the crypto world. Okay? The easiest thing for me to do is to say everything. And that is because there's 1 or 2 mushrooms among hundreds of thousands that may have outperformed Bitcoin to date, but maybe they're only around 5 years. So the safest thing to say is everything is falling in price to Bitcoin. It's like saying, the way I might say, like, no one wins the lotto because, you know, millions of people enter and 1 person wins. To me, I like rounding. You know, in the euro now we round cents out of 100. Why? Because it's simpler. It makes your life easier. It's more straightforward. It's more predictable. So if 1 person wins the lotto out of the odd million that enter, I just will say no one wins the lotto. It's pointless me wasting money on that, unless it's like a charity thing or something, and I'm doing it for a different reason. But in terms of to try and get more money, it wouldn't be, you know, I don't think mathematically it's a good idea. So I want to talk to you about the returns, and let's address the elephant in the room, because the elephant in the room is Bitcoin. Now, when the 100x Brigade and the 1000x Brigade arrived back in the scene, in my comments, like, we had a lovely bear market where I taught everyone about Bitcoin, and people started to learn about Bitcoin, and then they started to allocate to Bitcoin, and then they've seen their net worth improve a lot and they're really happy. But now the 1000x Brigade are back and they're really hostile, really nasty, and they can be really bitter as well because because they don't have the wealth mindset, okay? And I suppose not everyone will be ready to hear this, but I'll give you the analogy to help you understand it. When it comes to anything you want to do, okay, the struggle is necessary, okay? And it's really hard to comprehend. It just takes a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience and a lot of time in life. So most young people, I don't know if I'd been able to absorb this message when I was in my 20s and I just wanted stuff to be done fast. I would have been when I had my coaches, because they helped me understand all that. But prior to me getting any professional coaches, mentorships, business coaches, I probably wouldn't have understood that, and I would have been like, yeah, whatever, I want the fast way, next, and I'd be on to the next thing. The struggle is necessary in anything that we do, okay? You must struggle. The struggle is the journey. The struggle is the path. The time is proof of ownership, okay? It's like serving an apprenticeship. That's why I say to people, you have a 4-year apprenticeship in Bitcoin. Serve a 4-year apprenticeship, gain some wisdom, gain some knowledge, then have at it. Come back in another cycle. Maybe then you'll have the experience to manage the high-risk things. Because I'll be honest, I play with high risk things. Most times they blow up. Once or twice they've hit nicely for me. Okay, but I don't even speak of them here because most people don't know how to manage risk, so I just park that. But I'm in the full knowledge that the majority of my position is Bitcoin only, and it's a 10-year strategy, which then becomes a 100-year strategy, and that protects me from myself. And I wasn't wise enough to figure this out myself. It's just that I consulted with professional investors who have 30 years experience, 40 years experience. And they taught me this, and they just showed me the math that this is the best way and you can't outperform it. And lo and behold, it works. And then I know Bitcoiners who have done it and it's worked. But everyone thinks they're going to outperform it in the short term. Everybody thinks that, okay, we're coming into altcoin season. Bitcoin's only done 10% this week, but something has done 50 or 100. So we lose track and we go for the shiny object, and that's just human nature. Okay? However, remember, one of the most important things that was ever taught to me is that creating wealth and being wealthy, if you want to chase money, okay, human nature does the opposite of that. So anything that's in your nature will always destroy your opportunity at retiring early. And again, I'm just like, you can't argue with nature. Mother Nature was wiser than that. You can just understand how she works and then use that knowledge to make your decisions and help your decisions. But by struggling through the journey of wealth creation, and when I say about Bitcoin, like Bitcoin teaches you fast. Your average Bitcoiner who's been in Bitcoin for 4 years will know more about money, investing, risk, finance, and macro than 90% of the pension advisors that you'll meet in your whole life. Your average Bitcoiner who's never gone to college, who's just been in the world, in the Bitcoin markets, because these markets teach you and you learn fast. And hands up here, hit the comments if there's anyone here who's under 4 years, who's in their apprenticeship. Put it in the comments, let me know, because then I'll know whereabouts you guys are. So if you are less than 4 years, dollar cost averaging or investing into Bitcoin, let me know in the comments. And by the way, if you're more than 4 years, if you finish your apprenticeship, you know what happens if you've done this right, okay? And how you know you've done it wrong is, I'll have people and be like, oh, this is my 3rd cycle, and they're absolute shitcoiners, to use the phrase. That's true. Okay, they're altcoiners, and they're like, oh, you can make so much money. And I'm like, if you were in this thing and you've done 3 cycles, okay, that's 4 and 4 and 4. You shouldn't be here now. Like, all you have to do is own Bitcoin and not sell it, and you're more rich than there's any money you can do it. And the fact that you're still screwing around with altcoins tells me you're either a liar or you've never learned the lesson that you just keep destroying wealth by chasing shiny opportunities, not taking advantage in the bear markets, and you repeat the cycle. Now, the problem with the internet, we have this concept called proof of work. In the real world, we have proof of work, okay? And it's one of the concepts how Bitcoin works, and that's why I really love Bitcoin, because you can't fool it, you can't fake it, you can't change it. It's just digital truth, okay? That will last to infinity, I guess, potentially. Whereas on the internet, you can fake anything. And the problem is where people get their information and where they absorb it. And I see this in my comments, and I know it's not most of my audience, but I'm sure some of you guys have fallen for this. Okay? One random person on the internet will say one random comment on the internet. You've no idea who that person is. You've no idea how they look. Okay? Because, you know, that matters. Alright? You've no idea, and by that I mean, are they looking after themselves to some degree? Or have they absolutely no respect for their own health, which is basically failing at everything in life, in my opinion. You know, just my opinion, but... And it can be fixed, so if you are that person, fix it. It can be fixed. I've helped fix people's health for 20 years. And I've seen it bad. Okay? But also, how are they living? What's their net worth? What's their job? Okay? What's their level of debt? What's their level of freedom? How much free time do they have? Okay, because if you're going to take advice from someone, they have to have walked the walk. They have to practice what they preach. They have to have had success. They can't just be a random person on the internet saying a comment, but saying it with absolute conviction that you go, oh yeah. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you have to trust everything I say. Don't trust everything I say. All right. But if I hear a billionaire investor speak, I'm going to listen to him a lot closer than someone in a YouTube comment. And just TLDR in the YouTube comments, be careful, guys, because I have to go on every day and delete all these comments. Like Miss Charlotte Byrne helped me with my finances, and then 500 comments under it saying, oh yes, get her on Telegram, WhatsApp her. These are all scams. You will never find anything useful in the comments of any video you see on social media, except scams. I will find it useful because I get to see my community, okay? But random people will only find scammers. You know, if you find something like, oh, I just found an investment opportunity in the comments of Dinny's YouTube, you know you didn't. You're just setting yourself up to be scammed from as much money as you're prepared to give these people. So just beware of that and try and help your friends and family, because we're going to have new people coming into crypto, into Bitcoin, and we just have basic rules. You must buy the Bitcoin yourself. You must custody the Bitcoin yourself. You must not get someone to trade the Bitcoin for you, or mine the Bitcoin for you, or any other attractive opportunity. And guess what? If you had Bitcoin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and someone rings you up and says, by the way, we found your Bitcoin and it's worth way more than you think it is, or you don't remember ever buying it in the first place, it's also a scam, okay? It's a scam. No one's ringing you up to do you massive favors. Anyway, so a lot of people will get misled. Like my only proof of work is that I went from a caravan to a businessman. And I love working, so my whole, it's kind of ironic because I say to people, retire early, we'll retire early, and you can retire early. I hit my financial number when I was 40. But I'll never retire, folks. Why? Because I like working. Without work, what have I? I have my hobbies, yeah, and I have my things, but you can only do them for so long. That's why I think the AI revolution is going to have disastrous consequences on humanity when we have no ability to work. You know, as AI and robotics start to do everything in our life, we have no meaning, we have no purpose, we have nothing to do. That terrifies me. I always like to be busy, okay? So the obstacle is the way. You must struggle towards wealth, but the mindset. When I was in my 20s, I read every book I could get in the library on investing, on mindset, and on successful people, and the same principles come up. Okay? Although the journey of becoming really wealthy in Bitcoin, it's not like traditional finance. I'm not talking about decades, but I do think a decade plan is the way. And it really takes wisdom to understand hodling and why we hodl, and why we don't create taxable events, and why we don't try and trade Bitcoin. Sailor talks about when Godzilla enters the room. You know, most people don't understand because he talks abstractly, but Godzilla will enter the room. And being short Bitcoin would terrify me, because it's just not smart. You're short, that means you're not exposed to something. You're trying to sell the top and buy back in. You're short something that's going up and to the right. You're short a paradigm shift just to try and make an extra few percent. It's so silly. And I'm sure there's no one here tries to trade Bitcoin. You know, make us professionals here. Fair play, you're a professional. You have the edge, you know. But if 1 out of 10 people who trade Bitcoin lose, or who trade crypto lose, well then I keep my life simple. All my life, how I retired early is by making stuff as dumb as possible for Dinny, so I can just make the decision and move on. Okay? And that means I'll just say, okay, no one makes money trading, don't trade it. If you're a professional, you can decide that. But I'm yet to meet a successful one who's won in 5 years or more, who wasn't better off just accumulating the Bitcoin and hodling it and not losing it. And you see, again, our human mind will screw us in this situation, because our human mind will get involved and say, nah, that's simple. It couldn't be that easy. There's no way that that could be the case. Surely I have to do something, meddle, get involved. I'm smarter. I can accelerate it. No, you can't. It's just the truth if you can understand it. Because if 99% out of 100 of people who try it just screw it up, it's safe to say just no, you can't. Now, and this is why traditional finance can't get their head around Bitcoin, because they're like, but all our work, all our people, we extract trillions per year running this show. There's no way that this disintermediates us. Yes, it does. So that's the journey. Everyone's a Bitcoin maximalist in the bear market until we hit the bull market, and then the mistakes happen. And I don't mind. Anyone can have anything and do great, and people will be screaming, but I 5x, da 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 da, I done that. Great. Tell me when you clear your mortgage. Tell me when you actually extract the wealth and turn it into life. Because most people, everyone's making money now. All you have to do is throw money into crypto markets, you're making money. Anything, I don't care what you buy, you're going to make money. And that's always been the case. It was the case in the last market cycle. But then, I've 350 odd people in my entirely club at the moment. And when we do our live calls, we say, folks, hands up here who made it. Hands up here who made a few bob with the degen strategy, the altcoin genius, the 100x brigade. Hands up here if you've done it. All of them will just say, no, I got burnt, I got ruined, I got wrecked. Now when I say all of them, remember I round. There are a couple of people within that 300. Remember, if it's 1 out of 100, I can think of one guy. I can think of two. I can think of 3 guys who I know probably did outperform Bitcoin in that 300. Most people just go, I got wrecked. I should have owned way more Bitcoin. I should have owned a full Bitcoin, and now I don't because of that. Or I should have owned another extra Bitcoin, but now I don't because of that. Or I should have hit half a Bitcoin, but now I'm on 0.1 because of that. So that's just real market research. But this thing about humans, we come in and we enter the market and we're all new and we think, it won't happen to me. And I suppose, again, it comes down to training. Some people like to be coached on other people's experiences and other people's mistakes, and they can learn from them. And people who have less success in life always have to make the mistake themselves, and therefore it costs them their time and their money. Okay, and it's fine to make mistakes ourselves, but as you start to become, more savvy, you sort of start leveraging other people's mistakes. Let them make the mistakes. Okay, let them waste their time, and I learn from that rather than having to give it my own time. And that's the beauty of as you start to create wealth, you reinvest the wealth into your education so that you can have better education and therefore make better decisions. Because all of our wealth, it doesn't matter about the asset, it doesn't matter about how the market performs, none of that matters. All that matters is an investor's education and an investor's decisions, and that's it. That's the edge. So what I'd encourage people is try and not listen to your friends. Like, I was in the coffee shop, and nothing bad, but one of the young girls that works there, they know I'm into Bitcoin. They see me wearing a Bitcoin hat for the last 4 and whatever years, and they say, oh yeah, you're into Bitcoin. I'm like, yep. And it's like, oh, I just got in there. I'm like, okay, yeah, you bought some Bitcoin. Oh no, I didn't buy Bitcoin. I says, what you buy? They bought a token. I says, why'd you buy that? And I was genuinely being inquisitive, because I'm just like what made you make that decision? Because you've no knowledge of this thing. You barely even they weren't even able to say the word correctly of what it was, and then they just said, oh, my friend told me to. Now I'm assuming her friend isn't a savvy investor with a decade or 5 or 3 or 4's experience in markets, or even someone who's been a Bitcoin maximalist and has retired himself early by spending 400 hours studying Bitcoin. I'm assuming their friend possibly works in another cafe, barely has any savings, will never be able to afford a house, but it's a romantic story. It's like, buy this, it could go up a lot. And it's unfortunate. We have a new cycle, we have new people coming in, They're all going to repeat the mistakes. Bitcoin is a humbling thing, because with Bitcoin, it's like, you can't afford a full Bitcoin. So what? I can't afford a full Bitcoin. I don't buy full Bitcoins. But every month, I take a couple £100 and I put it into Bitcoin, and I own more Bitcoin than I did the previous month. And I've done that for years, and I will do that for years. And people vastly overestimate the amount of Bitcoin they will need to own. Like, owning a Bitcoin to me, it's like, it's not even, I used to say it was like, it's like owning a skyscraper. So it's like saying, I can't afford a skyscraper, I'm not going to invest into the property markets. Now, property was the investment asset of the 20th century. In the 21st century, it's digital property. But, you know, unit bias is what ruins people and wrecks people. I suppose, you know, so no one needs to own a full Bitcoin unless you want to retire in the next 5 years. Then you need a full Bitcoin. If you're a little bit younger than that, you don't. And even if you want to retire in the next 5 years, maybe you've got other investments that can carry you, while your Bitcoin just adds zero after zero. Okay? So nobody needs to own a full Bitcoin. That's the irony. You can buy 1 million Satoshis today. 1 million. You can buy them for £1,000. And for the young people here, maybe there will be a day, I think it's highly possible, that they're worth 1 million in real money, whatever real money is, euros. Because euros are going to go down in purchasing power, and Bitcoin's going to go up. So it mightn't take as long as people might think. Especially if Donald goes and makes Bitcoin the reserve asset, as he's talking to. It's like, people aren't ready for that bull market. It is going to wreck a lot of people. And we will have a massive crash, of course. I'm going to do you here, lads, because I see a parking spot back there. But Bitcoin isn't about the short term. Bitcoin is about shifting your mindset. And that's why every Bitcoiner that goes down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, their mindset changes. Okay? And it changes in a really positive way. And, oh, is the parking spot gone? Yes, someone just parked in the middle on 2 lines. Congratulations. I'll throw them a dirty look. Okay, we'll try somewhere else. Park in between the lines if possible, not over the lines, because even if you're just a bit over it, I can't fit. Let's go down here and see what we got. What was I saying there anyway? Sorry, I'm waffling. Yeah, Bitcoin's a mindset shift, and most people aren't ready for that. But I promise you, anyone who goes down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, who takes the time to study it, it changes their life. Okay? And it changes their life not because it makes them really financially rich immediately. It changes their life because it changes them as a person, and it gives them the qualities of success. Because there's a whole philosophy behind Bitcoin. It's the philosophy of life, of valuing time, of protecting your future, of making decisions that are mean a better future for you and for everyone. It's a system where everyone can win, as opposed to, and I'll finish with this story. I was on a MemeCon podcast last night, and when I thought about all the ways I'd celebrate Bitcoin hitting 100k, because I've said that for years. Like, when I set up my YouTube channel, whenever that was, I had the graphic designer, I was like, put 100k on the reg of my car, BT Bitcoin 100k, and no one ever noticed it, but it's been there for years, because I knew day was going to come. Yesterday was going to come. It was only a matter of time. Just how I know 1 million, I'll put it out there now, Bitcoin will be $1 million. This day will come. I will get a graphic designer to change the reg on that car to Bitcoin 1M. And we'll talk about it in so many years, I don't know. Maybe next year. Who knows? But what I done on Bitcoin 100k night, I didn't go have a pint of Guinness, I didn't open a bottle of whiskey, I didn't have a bottle of wine, I didn't meet any Bitcoiners. It was business as usual. But I actually ended up, I'd committed to doing a MemeCoin podcast. There's one of the guys that follows my channel, an Irish guy. He's involved with some MemeCoin, right? And I don't get MemeCoin. Well, I do. I think I get them. So I says, I'll go on the podcast anyway, because they'll give me a platform to talk about Bitcoin. So I'll do that. And hopefully try and teach people, what I think is a successful strategy. But I got to try and explain meme coins to me, and it's like, yeah, we did a meme coin, someone hits and they hit really big, and that's why people do them. They're taking a chance. We're not as rich as you. we don't have the money, so we want to, you know, get that 100x, get that 1000x. And I'm like, number one, I had that mindset when I lived in a mobile home for years and I had no money. And I never got money. It was only when I changed my mindset to the wealth mindset. Okay, which isn't the I just need to get the wealth really fast, really easy. It's no, I'm going to create a plan. I'm going to stick to the plan. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be really horrible times. I'm going to have to do hard work. But these principles are what every single wealth book teaches. And all the get rich quick things I've tried in my life have just destroyed wealth. And maybe you've done it too. You've invested in Cash FX. You've invested in Aircom shares. Everything you've done, a mining company that rang you up on the internet. Everything you've done, your pension blew up. You destroy wealth. And that's from outsourcing. So I was like, no, I'm going to do this in-house. I'm going to learn myself. And Bitcoin makes it super easy, by the way. And do the timeless principles. And I said to the guys, like, the meme coins to me seem that, yeah, for you to win, someone else has to lose. As I was just getting my car out of the shed, I was listening to a video and they're talking about the Hoktua girls meme coin. And CoffeeZilla was on saying, like, you dumped 50,000. We can see 1 million tokens moving on chain. So they're pumping it up saying, yeah, let's get on it. We're a community. We're all great. But then they just sell the tokens and enrich themselves. Now, this is why, this is how most of crypto seems to work. So everybody doesn't win. Those who are early win. Those who tell you to buy, sell. It's kind of the opposite of Bitcoin. I try and teach people never sell the Bitcoin. It's like scarce property. Look at a nice old church here. Let's just say you happen to own it. When is the time to sell it? Never. Why? Because it's always gone up in value. Rent it out to a priest. He can do a bit of mass in it. Okay? But when you own really valuable property, you should never sell it. Anyway, I'm dead late because my wife was ringing me there. Meeting her for breakfast. My breakfast was probably on the table going cold the last 10 minutes. But yeah, with meme coins, it just seems you pump it, then you dump it, and you get rich. It's not something I want to be involved in. Have a bit of fun if you want, guys. You know, try and rob the wealth of other people who are in as unfortunate a situation as you. But beware. You can build generational wealth with Bitcoin. Anyone in their 30s, 20s, oh my God, 40s. What an opportunity you guys have. You have 20 years on Bitcoin. 20 years. As it's going mainstream. You missed all the hard times. When everyone hated us. When the governments were against us. The banks were against us. Presidents were against us. There was no regulation. No products. You missed all them. You just arrive in for the no-risk times. And obviously there is risk. Because I don't know how you're going to manage your money. I don't know how you're going to manage your keys. Anyway, nothing I hear is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do I look like a financial advisor? I look like a Bitcoiner. I wear a hat even though I'm old and people abuse me for it. But I feel young, guys. Dinny out. Have a good day. Have a super day. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Have to crack with us. Share.